Hi, I'm Terry, and I'm nuts about stamping. I'm back today with another Sundays with Sizzix project. It's this Christmas card that I created using my Big Shot, and I'm going to show you how to create this card step by step. So the first thing you want to do is get a piece of very vanilla cardstock. I'm going to do a different layout. This card is sort of, the layout is this way. And I'm going to make one a little bit differently. I've got a piece of 4.5 by 11 cardstock. I've scored it at on my Simply Scored at the 5.5 mark, and I'm going to make a card that goes this way. The next thing I'm going to do is bring in a piece of early espresso cardstock that I've cut 4 by 4. And bring in my Big Shot, and I'm going to emboss this piece of cardstock using the Lacy Brocade embossing folder. So I'm going to put my cardstock inside the folder, and then I'm going to bring in my platform. I'm going to put it on tab 1. I have a bottom standard cutting pad. I've got my folder with the cardstock inside. Just going to straighten it out a little bit. I've got my top cutting pad, and then I'm going to run it through the Big Shot. Now what that will do is create the layer that my snowflake is going to sit on. Just put this out of the way for a second. And then what I'm going to do is bring in a couple of strips of the champagne glimmer paper. If you haven't seen this glimmer paper, it's absolutely amazing. It's got such a beautiful sparkle to it. I'm going to use some sticky strip to attach the glimmer paper to my cardstock that I've just embossed. I'm going to turn my cardstock over, and I'm going to run a piece of sticky strip across the top. Like so. Trim it off. And then a piece of sticky strip across the bottom. And I'll show you in a minute what I've done. Like so. All right, so I've got my 4-inch square. I've got a piece of sticky strip at the top and a piece of sticky strip at the bottom. I'm just pressing on it really hard because that helps me peel off the top coating sometimes. Very difficult to get this coating off because it is a very strong adhesive. All right, looks like I'm going to have to say that I will be back in a moment. Let me try this end. There we go. Well, that one was easy. And I can't, oh, there we go. Once you get it once, it does lift off easier the second time. There we go. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my cardstock down on top of my strip of glimmer paper and press it down, and that's going to do one end, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. You can have as much or as little showing, like that. So there's part of the layer for my card front. The next thing I'm going to do is use my Winter Memories stamp set. I love the phrase in this one, and I've got some early espresso ink to match my early espresso cardstock. I'm going to ink up the phrase that says Warm Winter Wishes. Stamp it down. Then I'm going to bring in my snail adhesive and adhere the layer to the front of the card. And then I am ready for the final embellishment on my card, which is the snowflake. So I will be back in a moment and I will show you how to create that embellishment for the front of your card. All right, I'm back, and I'd like to introduce a brand new die that I just purchased recently. It's called the Snow Flurry Bigs die. It has a big snowflake, a medium-sized one, and a small one. And I have a scrap piece of very vanilla cardstock, It's 4 inches by 4 inches. That's a little large, but it works because it is a scrap I have hanging around. I'm going to run it through the Big Shot, and I'm going to die cut the snowflake, the large one. There we go. And then I have a piece of scrap champagne glimmer paper, and I'm going to bring my Big Shot back in. Just going to put the snowflake out of the way for a minute. And this time I've got a piece of the champagne glimmer paper. I believe it's maybe 2 inches square. I'm not quite sure. It is, I have a ruler right here. No, it's 2.5 inches square. And I'm going to run that through the Big Shot on the medium-sized snowflake. And then I'm almost ready to complete my card. There we go. So I have got the large snowflake and the medium snowflake, and I am going to bring back in my card, and I'm going to put a Stampin' Dimensional underneath the snowflake and use that to adhere to the card front, like so. And then I'm going to bring in my glimmer paper snowflake and put a Stampin' Dimensional on the back of that. And I am going to put that on the center, and there we go. My card is all complete and ready to send in the mail to somebody special. For a complete listing of the supplies and the measurements that I used to make this card, please hop on over to my blog, www.nutzaboutstamping.com. Don't forget that on last week's Sundays with Sizzix video, I shared with you that anybody who places an order for the October promotion of the Ornament Keepsakes bundle will qualify to be entered into a shopping spree for $25 in any one of the catalogs or a combination of both. And while you're on my blog, don't forget to subscribe to my customer newsletters. They're free. They come out a couple of times a month. And as a special bonus thank you to my customers, I have a special edition, 12 Weeks of Christmas, that comes out every Wednesday. That program has already started, but you can certainly catch up and carry on with us. You can also place an order, or you can ask me a question. I'm Terry. I am Nuts About Stamping. See you next time. Bye for now.